Next on This Is Home, learn tricks of the trade from local experts like how to start the process of buying a home, tips on taking care of the heart of your home, and how to navigate picking out the perfect flooring. So settle in as we bring you This Is Home. This is likely the largest investment you'll ever make in your life. It's where families are crafted and most memories are made, your home. So let's learn from the experts how to make all of that work the most efficient way possible for your lifestyle. I'm Taylor Lee, and welcome to This Is Home. Up first, upkeep with the most expensive purchase all starts with the heart. Let's check out the heart system of your home. I'm out here with Greg Skarda, owner of Master Tech. Now, 33 years in the business, you've seen a lot of this stuff. You've seen the worst of what we can do to the heating and air conditioning units in our house and the best. So give me a couple easy. Here's how I make it the most efficient for my family. Here's how I keep the bill the lowest, but we're still the most comfortable we can be.
You can do a lot of things with the air conditioning system. You can put a more efficient unit in there. But if your windows and your doors and your attic insulation, if that's not adequate, then you're just spinning your wheels. It all goes together. There's nothing in the mechanical industry that you can compare to the human body like an air conditioning system. The compressor is the heart of the system. Just like you have to have proper airflow, you got to breathe properly. You need to have your vents open all the way all the time. A lot of people close their vents off in this room and shut a door. I don't recommend closing them at all. That's just me personally. If you're going to close one, you might want to shut it down a little bit, but don't close it completely. Okay. Leave it open a little bit where it can still move some air.
So with Case, you have to change your air filter a little more frequently than I would without a dog.
Yes, I probably do need to change it more often than you would. Case doesn't shed real bad, so that's a good thing. I change my filter probably about every 5 to 6 months.
5 to 6, okay. And so when's the last time you did it?
I think probably January or December, so I probably need to go check it.
Oh, you might have a little bit of a late fee on that one.
I might be a little dirty.
Let's go check that out.
But we can go look at it. Yeah, talking about the filters, I like this filter here. It's a pleated filter. It's a good quality filter. Okay. It's got the wire mesh on one side. It also has the cardboard reinforcement on both sides. It makes it a little stiffer. It keeps your filter from sagging and dropping out of the bottom of it.
Now look at the difference there.
Yep, this one's pretty dirty. So the date on this was November the 16th.
Oh, you were way off.
I wasn't way, but let me show you something, okay? Now, you take a look at this filter, okay, and this one here. Okay. You can see the difference. It's pretty dirty. Yeah. But if I hold this thing up to the light, you see how I'm still getting good light through it?
You are, right.
Okay, so this filter's not stopped up.
Right.
And so even going 6 months, that's why I can go about 5 to 6 months on my filter. This is a good time to change it. It's getting some good surface dirt, but yet there's still some good airflow through it. If you can go 5, 6, 7 months on changing your filter, go 5, 6, or 7 months on changing it. But if that filter is like this in a month's time, then you probably need to change it once a month.
Good to know. That's a good basis for us to know. Next up, now you don't need me to tell you this, but for a lot of us, it's all about the bathrooms. How clean is clean, and when is it just time to upgrade? Henry, I think you can sort of speak to this. I bet in the middle of summer, in the heat of summer, people sometimes get an itch for, all right, I want to redo the bathroom. So what are some of those things that we need to look for that maybe we could use as an excuse for the other partner in our life to jump on board with the bathroom remodel?
Yeah, so I think what a lot of people tend to neglect is just the little pieces of mold and mildew that can be tucked up in the corner of showers and bathtubs. those are often big warning signs that there's a bigger problem back behind the wall screens.
Show me where some of those
So
hidden
one of the
spots are that
yeah,
we're not used to
absolutely.
checking.
So when you're in a shower or even in a tub, a lot of the water tends to hit you, and if it does what it's supposed to, it goes down to the drain. But what happens, a lot of it hits you, it bounces off, and it runs through the grout lines, and it kind of has the tendency to build up kind of at the water level down. So you'll end up having grout that's discolored, from about waist down.
Okay.
In the corners of the shower, you tend to get a lot of the little black mildew, and sometimes people will sit there and bleach it, and they scrub it, and they think they got rid of it. But all they did is they just got rid of the superficial mold that's on the top, and there ends up being bigger problems back behind the walls. And so what we'll often do is a moisture test. So we'll take a moisture reader and we'll actually put it onto the walls, and we'll be able to tell you what level of saturation you have back behind
What's
the walls.
really gotten in there
Exactly.
beyond what we can even see.
Sure.
So
And
you're
sometimes
telling
we
me-
see 100% saturation.
And you're telling me that bleach does not fix that. Just because it
Absolutely
looks gone,
not.
it's not always
Absolutely not.
gone. So, okay, maybe down in the corners are some of the other areas, like what can we look for maybe around our shower heads
Yeah.
or our faucets that should trigger the idea of let's start looking at updating this?
So same thing, look for cracked grout. Anytime you have any of the grout that's cracked, that means there's a bigger problem. Sometimes we see the tile will actually be caved in, and so you'll see different levels of tile. So it might be real smooth up here, and then the tile will be indented, and that's often a sign that the sheetrock that's behind the wall has completely let loose, and so the tile is just being held up with other tile.
Okay.
And so that really needs to be fixed, because a lot of times what we do is when we get in there, we take the tile out, the sheetrock back behind the wall is completely deteriorated.
So in an effort to prolong the life of my shower, if I do have that tile and the grout's really coming apart, starting to crack, can I just, I'm thinking of let's mask the problem, let's refill the grout. I can do that myself.
Typically not, because usually if the grout's cracking, the damage has already been done. And so if you're recalking the grout or putting grout back over it, what you're doing is you're locking the moisture inside of it, and that's really when mold grows.
Okay.
And so typically in a situation like that, when the grout is cracked out, it needs to be removed.
So you would have had to have never showered while the crack was there.
Exactly.
That's the only way
Yep.
it could be acceptable.
Well, and there might be in some instances where you can, if it's above the water line,
Okay.
you can get away with it. But usually when water gets back behind the grout, if it's an older home, especially they don't have moisture-resistant sheetrock and Dura rock back behind the walls. They have white sheetrock, and white sheetrock will absorb moisture and it'll act like a sponge when it gets wet. It'll swell, and that's usually what pushes the tile away from the wall. And so usually when that happens, it's already too far gone.
If you love to look or you're getting that itch for a new home, there's a lot of steps to take with the home buying process. Russell, West Texas is a great place to live. A lot of us obviously here really believe that. But from a realtor standpoint, from the expert standpoint, why?
There's lots of different reasons. I think number one is just our culture and the people. We'll hear people come in and say, well, you don't have mountains, you don't have many lakes and things, and why does anyone want to live here when you see the dust storms and things like that? But when they really get ingrained in the culture and see the hearts of the people of West Texas and our work ethic and just the way we treat one another, I think that makes such a big impression and adds to the quality of life. If it's just a great place to live, a great place to raise a family.
Great place to plant roots.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you kind of touched on raising a family. So for people in that transitional phase of life, for whatever reason, talk to me about investing in real estate. For a lot of us, that's absolutely, this is the most expensive purchase we're going to make in our life. It's really scary. Walk me through from the buyer's standpoint, where do I even start?
Sure, that's a great question. So one of the best places is to look at your financing, to get with a mortgage company and find out how much do you qualify, where are you comfortable, even if you can qualify for more than what you want to spend, where do those payments put you? Is it a good place to be? The worst thing we can do as agents is start showing you properties without knowing where you are financially, because if we look too high and we realize we need to cut that back some, those houses won't quite measure up. And also,
then you fall in love with that house that you
Yeah.
just can't have. I talk with my bank, I talk with the people handling my mortgage, I figure out where I need to be, then what?
well, it's good to bring a realtor into the process that can find out, maybe ask some of the questions to see where do you need to be. Is there a certain school district? Is there a certain type of home you're looking for, a certain age? Some people want newer type houses and look for less maintenance. Other people would rather have mature landscaping, big trees and things that you don't see with new construction. So it's not necessarily one size fits all, but what really fits you and the needs that you have, and then we can start putting that criteria together to find the right property that fits you.
So Gene, that process of buying a home, you know, a lot of people say it can be really scary, but a realtor can really shield us from a lot of those things that might happen. Tell me about that.
There's a lot of things that realtors do to ensure that a buyer is getting what they're paying for, to make sure that it's a safe and confident process where the buyer knows that he can have confidence that his purchase is exactly what he wants. And one of the ways we do that is we ask for a home warranty. Another thing we do is we ask for a 10-day option period. And
This is crucial.
it's crucial. And that's a nominal fee, maybe $100 for 10 days to get the home inspected with a home inspector to make sure that we know what faults there may be with the home. Most of those things may be minor, and sometimes those things may be more of a major thing, and the buyer can either terminate the contract or he can ask for repairs from the seller. That gives you a little more confidence that you know what the home is really worth.
What are you paying for?
What are you paying for? That's exactly right.
Coming up after the break, flooding and what to do when your home is fighting back. Get more This Is Home online at kcbd.com. Take an in-depth look at all the latest home improvement news in one convenient location, plus watch full episodes of past shows on demand. Just go to kcbd.com and click on the This Is Home tab. Now we're moving into our kitchens where everything water runs. We're here with David Miller now with ServPro. Now, it's kind of like, we hope we never have to hear this advice, but when water damage happens in our home, man, are you going to be grateful you have a little bit of knowledge behind you.
Yeah, when the first thing you want to do is try and minimize it. You know, of course, when something happens, you're just sort of either frustrated, you don't know which way to turn, you're screaming, you're crying.
You feel like everything's getting damaged by the second.
Exactly,
oh my gosh.
Exactly, and if you don't know how to stop it, first thing to do, then that can magnify the whole problem. So, you know, be calm, a little bit of education, and you know, stop the water.
So I realize under the sink there, something broke. There's water now spewing all over my great floors. Give me 3 quick steps. How do I need to respond?
Determine what's causing it, shut it off, and then contain it.
All right.
3 steps to, you know, help minimize damage to your home.
Now, before anything like that ever happens, tell me how I minimize it from the get-go.
Before-
There's different.
Yeah, very good, yeah. A little bit of preventive maintenance, you know, is just being aware of things, okay? Taking a look underneath the kitchen sink, seeing what condition your plumbing is in, okay? With Lubbock water, if you have the hard water without a water softener, the hot water can really deteriorate and corrode. So, you know, once a month, look underneath there. See how those pipes are doing. See if, you know, the valves are getting corroded. And that's another thing. If you can reach in there and turn the valves on and off on a regular basis, that would be great. We should be doing that.
Okay.
Not only under the sink, under the commode, behind your washing machine and the, you know, the clothes washer.
So about once a month, each of those steps.
I would, yeah. Or, you know, at a minimum every 6 months.
That's the important part of it, is when something like this happens, think on your feet, remember those tips, clean it up, minimize the damage.
If you feel like it's more than just a mop up with towels, call a professional.
Call a professional.
Call a professional.
It might be so much more than that, and that phone call is going to be worth.
Exactly, and it's peace of mind knowing that, okay, yeah, you came out, it's not that bad, great. Or you came out and you determined that it's a lot more than what you thought. So get a professional opinion.
Remain calm.
Remain calm.
Cool.
Stop the damage.
Yeah, stop the damage. Well, I feel like I won't freak out as much
Well, I hope not.
if or when this ever
If it
happens.
ever happens. That's right. You can prevent it if you just keep looking underneath things.
Now let's talk curb appeal. We're heading outdoors to learn from the place that's become a living legacy of the South Plains. All right, Toby Rowan, you're one of the landscape architects here. So walk us through what this process is like. Somebody calls you and says, I'm ready to redo the yard.
This particular client called me and said that, hey, my driveway's old, it's ugly, I'm ready to redo it. So I go out and I meet with them and we walk through it, and we kind of do what we call a site analysis and a site inventory, and we take a look at everything that they have and find the constraints and the positive things, the areas that we can work with, and discuss the different options that they have. In this particular landscape, we chose to go with a colored concrete with a skin pattern to it, and then we added a few brick pavers here to the front. So
that helps cut the cost.
yes, it does.
So I've still got the look of the brick pavers, but instead of covering all this area, I can just put it near the door. You've still got that attraction feel.
Yeah, it's a warm, inviting entrance to your home, and really stands out. And it works better sometimes than to do the whole thing, because you'll lose your emphasis that you're trying to gain when you do brick pavers on your whole driveway.
When you see a DIYer who redoes their own flower beds, or, you know, I'm thinking of that lady, if y'all would have done the driveway, but she would have said, I want to do the rest of that. What are some of those big, you know, make sure you keep this in mind?
One of the things I see in landscapes that people mess up on is getting the wrong plant in the wrong location. They see it in the store and it's big and pretty and it has flowers all over it, but maybe they plant it in the shade and it's a full sun, or maybe it's a full sun and they plant it in the shade. And so having the knowledge base to get your plants in the right location is
So it's about asking those people that know,
Yes.
like take advantage of people in the store when you're purchasing those.
So that little tree that you plant next to your house because it looks cute, in 20 years may be costing you thousands of dollars because you didn't do your research and check in.
Not so cute anymore.
Right. So many of the houses were built in Lubbock, you know, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and landscaping has changed quite a bit from that time. We're using different plant materials, more drought hardy type things, because our water's become more critical, and we're kind of becoming educated on that. So, you know, the xeriscape industry has changed a lot, and everybody thinks that xeriscape is just cactus and rocks and gravel, and it's not. There's lots of plants. That's where we get most of our color in our plants. Even your potted plants are a lot of times xeriscape plants that you get color from them all summer long. Even in the fall they look pretty. They're less maintenance. You can come out one time a year and trim them back and you're done for the year.
Ooh, that's definitely appealing
Yeah.
to a lot of people.
Yeah. You can get a lush tropical look from xeriscape. You can get any look you want using xeriscape plants. You just got to have someone with the knowledge to express that. So
Also never knew that. That's why you guys are the experts.
Yeah.
You know this stuff. Up next, it's all about the floor underneath your feet. Your family does life on top of this, so find out what's best for your household and for your home. It may not be what you think. So Bill, once we go about the process of deciding, all right, I need new flooring, I need to invest in that, what trends are really popular right now around the West Texas area?
Well, certainly something that's popular no matter what material you choose is wood-looking material, whether it's wood-look tile, wood-look vinyl, or actual wood itself.
Tell me what we're standing on right now. This is
real hardwood. Yeah, and this is real hardwood in a herringbone pattern. Something very new to our industry, not very new, but maybe coming back, is pattern, whether it's patterned carpet, patterned wood.
Patterns on the floor.
Patterns on the floor, and patterns on the wall. You know, whether it's a backsplash or a shower,
Right.
patterns are where it's at a little bit right now. So what we try to do here is show off current styles, current trending things. This is a wood that we have on our showroom floor in a herringbone pattern. It comes in a straight form as well. So you could use something like this herringbone in an entryway or in a dining room or in, you know, to to set aside, open concept homes are very, very popular. So if you herringboned your living room, for example, it would make a set for the living room. You would define the living room area based on the herringbone wood that's in the living room, and then on the outside of it you could have the actual just straight laid wood as well.
Wood look vinyl planks. Walk us through
Yes, ma'am.
what exactly that looks like, feels like, the functionality of it in my home.
Perfect. So wood look vinyl planks come in a multitude of sizes, from 6 inches wide to 10 inches wide, from 24 inches long to 60 inches long, a full 5 feet. So large format and small format. What do they look like in your home? They look like wood. I mean, that's their goal. Yeah, that's their goal. That's their purpose, is to look like wood, but have the functionality of a man-made product, the waterproofness, the scratch-resistant, kid-friendly, pet-friendly. The technology of the vinyl has progressed so far in the last 3 years, from HD printing to registering and embossing the plank so it has a genuine feel, meaning if you see a knot hole printed, it actually feels like a knot hole in the wood.
I could lean down and feel that.
Sure. It has a true feel. It feels like wood, just the same as it looks like wood. So, it's manifested itself from a wood look to a wood look and a wood feel as well. So it's come a long, long way and continues to evolve into a more beautiful, all the while maintaining its functionality that it's always had.
So, Will, there's another option in this wood family.
Sure, a great option for durability and practical in-home use is wood look porcelain tile. Porcelain tile with a printing on it made to look like wood.
So this is tile. You're telling me it's
That's
cool?
tile.
It is. It's cool.
That's porcelain tile,
Okay.
grouted just the same as any tile, but with the variation of the printing on it and the durability of a porcelain product, the waterproofness, the toughness, the durability of porcelain. The beauty of the tile is that it's printed, so it can be made to have any look. This is obviously a natural wood-looking product. As we move over here, we step into a multiple width gray tile. So it's the same, you've got a 5-inch plank and you've got a 7-inch plank. Actually, that may be a 9-inch plank, but you've got multiple widths. And the reason they do that is woods come in multiple widths. So if we want to look like wood, let's get multi-width products. So we're going to make tiles that are multiple widths, designed to look like wood, to give you a true wood-like feel.
Cool. Pretty neat how it's all evolving. Ever wondered, what's the deal with your pipes? Something goes wrong and man, that's a huge source of pain and damage. Let's take a look into the hidden parts of your home. So now we're here with Kyle Montemayor with Westex Plumbing. Talk to me about the hidden parts of our home, because man, is it crucial to keep your pipes and your sewer lines in great condition, or else you might have a disaster on your hands.
Yeah, what we'll kind of go over today is what that people don't get to see under the slab, or that the inspector doesn't really go over when someone is buying a home. For somebody to come out and call a plumber to come out and check all your plumbing in the house and make sure everything is good before you buy the home and get into it and start having plumbing problems right after you buy it.
So now, plumbing problems under the slab in the house, what are those caused by? What kind of triggers this stuff?
It's just over time you've got settling on the house, and it could just be that the pipes are starting to get bad and older, and you could get cracks. It could get to the point of having roots in the line.
Tree roots?
Yes.
Okay, and that's something nobody can predict.
Yeah, and nobody knows, and you can't see it without the camera, and that's what the camera will do, is help you see those cracks.
Let's walk in the house and just show me, what could I be doing at home maybe before I need to call a plumber?
What we can kind of do is we can go into the kitchen and we'll check under your kitchen sinks, check your faucets, make sure there's no water dripping or any signs of damage anywhere.
So really, it's just a matter of, turn on the faucet.
Yeah, you can just turn it on and then turn it back off, and then you're just looking for water that's going to keep running and not shutting off.
Okay.
And then what we could also do is you can kind of look under here, and you'll look under at your angle stops, make sure there's no water. You look at your P-traps. If you have a disposal, you'll look at your disposal, and just kind of what you're mainly really looking for is signs of water damage.
So another thing we can do is just head outside.
Yeah, and what you can kind of do is you can come out to either behind your house, or the meter's either out in the alley or in the front of the house. What you can kind of do, something simple and easy, is just kind of come out here to your water meter, and kind of be careful when you open up that lid, but open up that lid and what you're looking for is a possible slab leak. And down there in the center, there's that little chrome piece, and that's kind of what's going to be spinning, and that's going to tell you as a homeowner that you're having water somewhere running in the house.
So if that's still, I'm happy.
Yes, because yeah, that means there's no water running in the house, there's no movement of any water, and it's holding pressure to what's inside.
So check under the sink, check my meter. Is that really all I can do myself?
Yeah, that's kind of the easier things that you can do as a homeowner to kind of check everything. But there's options of going through and calling an actual plumber out, and what he'll do is he can come out and run a camera through your sewer lines and check your sewer.
So we've got that camera here. Tell me what you guys are looking at when you do this.
When we're running the camera through your lines, what we're looking for is either breaks in the lines, possible bellies in your line, or the big one that's always a bigger one is the roots are always in your line. And that's where you start having your plumbing stoppages and backing up and sewer coming into the house.
So ultimately though, you know, those little steps could really avoid a headache in the long run.
Yes, because it could go through what I go through when I have homeowners call me after they've only been in the house for maybe a month or two and they've just bought it, and now they're calling me and they're having cracks or slab leaks in the house or drain slab leaks in the house right after they've bought the house.
Yeah, you just inherited a huge issue.
Yes, on the house.
What could price tag of that go up to?
Roughly, it depends if you're just trying to do a small part of it, or if it ends up being the whole house, it could get to the option of going to $15,000 to $20,000 of a repair damage.
Protecting your home from the unpredictable weather of West Texas takes more than simply a roof over your head. Mike, in the chaos of some of our West Texas weather, our roofs can really get damaged. And I mean, that's one of the biggest investments on the most expensive thing we're ever going to buy in our life.
Yes, in West Texas, the climate can change hour to hour. And so having a great roof over your head, we take that for granted, but in a blink of an eye, that can change. Hail hits your roof, and it's going to fracture the granules, fracture the integrity of the shingle. And so there may be granules that are still sitting on the shingle, but once water or wind, they'll start blowing and it'll expose the insides of that shingle. Now the integrity of the shingle has been compromised.
Touching a little bit on, you know, when it's time to sell my home, you might really be regretting not calling that roofer after those couple of hailstorms, right?
Yeah, I think that really quarter-size hail is probably your bare minimum. When you see the
That's good to know.
dime size or pea size, you'll hear pea size a lot. A lot of pea size has to fall for there to be any substantial damage.
How much is a lot? Just give us some ballpark.
If you got an hour's worth of pea size, you may have some damage. 5 minutes of pea size more than likely is not going to do any damage. Typically, again, you know, it's a broad spectrum. Each roof reacts different to the elements and the wind speed and such. But typically, you know, at ½ inch, that's when you start really seeing some damage. But again, it just the severity, what's driving it. Is there wind, you know, and the size of it. But anytime you start getting into the big 2-inch, and so people, you know, golf ball size or ping pong size, golf ball size, you know, grapefruit, softball, baseball, you know, you start hearing those terms, you know, you better
put a warning
yeah, you
sign,
better find indoors quickly. And so, yeah.
We're calling a roofer if we see that, but what if it's this size?
It just depends on how hard it was. A lot of times you'll see hail it can get soft. If it's soft falling from the sky, you know, it just dissipates as soon as it hits the ground. Then obviously there's probably not a lot of traction there. But if it's still sitting, you know, in your front yard, 30 minutes after, okay, there was a little bit behind it. There's some ice balls there, and so. Yeah, there was some density. So there's a lot of great contractors in the Lubbock area. Call them and they'll come and do a free inspection typically. That's what we do.
Okay.
And we'll document our findings and put together a full report with pictures. And then if there's estimate needed for repair, we'll provide that. But that's a free report that we will send to your insurance or to whoever is involved.
Helpful.
Helpful.
I mean, it's just good
yes.
to know.
Yeah.
That wraps up this edition of This Is Home. Hey, thanks for learning with us. We'll see you next time right here on the South Plains, because this is home.
KCBD News Channel 11 is now on Amazon Fire TV. Search KCBD in the Amazon Fire TV App Store. Download and get all the latest news, weather, and sports on demand. When severe weather strikes, you need the most accurate storm updates from the most experienced weather team on the South Plains. The earliest warnings with the latest technology.
That's going to bring it right into the city of Lubbock.
The First Alert Forecast Center. Severe weather coverage you can count on.